Welcome to the Deadly Desserts How to Play video. Hope you've got an appetite for some food. Each player starts with health tokens and a handful of cards. Your objective is to strategically play your hand out to avoid losing health. Whoever has the most health at the end of the game wins. Start by setting up the deck based on the number of players. You can find this table in the instruction sheet that came with your game. I'll show you how to set up a 4-player game and we'll cover other player counts later. For a 4-player game, we'll use one deck, remove all level 1 to 2 cards, and each player will have a 13-card hand. Start by removing one deck from the box. They're both identical, so choose your favorite color. Next, we'll remove cards from the deck. The number at the top left of each card is its level, and the symbol its food group. There are 4 food groups: meat, plant, drink, and dessert. Each food group has one card for each level from 1 to 15. For a 4-player game, we'll remove all level 1 to 2 cards. Next, we'll remove all Gourmayhem cards. These are double-sided and are an optional rule that we'll cover later in this video. You can put all removed cards back in the box. Shuffle the remaining cards and deal one card at a time face down to each player. Players look at their hands. Give 500 health worth of tokens to each player. You're now set up and ready to play Deadly Desserts. The game is played in a series of tricks. A trick is where players play one card each and one player takes the trick. Whoever last ate dessert leads the first trick by playing any card. The food group of the first card in each trick is the craving. In this example, meat. All other players must play a card of the craving food group if available in their hand. If they do not have a card of the craving food group in hand, they can play any card. This is how you dish out damage. Whoever plays the highest level craving takes all cards from the trick. In this example, meat is the craving and level 11 is the highest level meat. Player 2 takes all cards from the trick and places that in a pile in front of them referred to as their stack. Cards in your stack will be used to add up points at the end of the round. Whoever takes the trick leads the next trick by playing any card. Continue playing tricks until players run out of cards in their hands. The round is now over and points are added. I'll cover scoring later in this video. For a 2-player game, after setting up the deck, deal 8 cards to each player and place the remaining cards in the middle as a draw pile. Players look at their hands. Players play 2 cards in each trick, one at a time. Here's an example. Player 1 plays the first card in a trick. The craving is drink. Player 2 plays a card. Player 1 plays another card. Player 2 plays another card. Player 2 played the highest level craving. They take the trick and lead the next. After each trick, players draw 2 cards each from the draw pile if it has any cards. When playing with 6 to 10 players, you'll use 2 decks. In some cases, you'll remove more cards from one deck than the other. For example, when playing with 7 players, you'll remove all level 1 to 4 cards from the first deck and all level 1 to 5 cards from the second deck. Now let's talk about an additional rule when playing with 2 decks. When 2 players play the same card, they cancel one another out and are immune from taking the trick. Whoever plays the highest level craving that is not cancelled takes the trick, including the cancelled cards. In this example, players 3 and 6 both played level 15 desserts. They both cancel one another out and will not take the trick. Player 2 played the highest level craving that is not cancelled and will take the trick. Here's something else that can occur when playing with 2 decks. If all cards in a trick cancel one another out, set the trick aside and give it to whoever takes the next trick, or the previous trick if it's the last trick in a round. At the end of each round, players total the value of all cards in their stack and remove or add health tokens accordingly. The game ends after 3 rounds or when a player runs out of health. At the end of the game, whoever has the most health wins. If it is the end of the round and the game is not over, shuffle the deck and re-deal cards to each player and begin a new round. Players keep current health tokens. Whoever collected Hangry Pig this round leads the first trick of the next round. Cards with points below their levels are called superfoods. Cards with no points are not superfoods and don't have a cool name. The meat, plant, and drink food groups have 1 superfood each. Hangry Pig decreases health by 100, Asparagus increases health by 100, and Double Agent Seltzer doubles all points or increases health by 50 if you're only superfood. All desserts decrease health. The higher the level, the higher the damage. See the player aids that came with your game for a reference table of all cards. Now who's excited for some math? Let's say that it's the end of the round and your player won. These are the only superfoods in your stack. The rest of the cards in your stack don't have any points. Add up the value of all cards in your stack and then remove or add health tokens accordingly. -20 plus -30 equals -50. You'd then remove 50 health from your tokens and put it back in the box. If you also had double agent seltzer in your stack, add up the value of all other cards first and then double. -50 times 2 equals -100. If you also had a spare guy in your stack, you'd again add up the value of all other cards first, then double. +50 times 2 equals +100. In this case, you'd take 100 health from the box and put it with your health tokens. Feel free to pause the video here to ensure your understanding. If double agent seltzer is your only superfood, gain 50 health instead. A player sugar rushes when they end a round with all of the desserts in their stack. Add up the value of all cards in their stack and dish this damage out to each of the other players while the sugar rusher takes none. In this example, player 1 sugar rushed and their stack adds up to -200. Dish this damage out to each of the other players while player 1 takes no damage. Angry Pig and Asparagus each add an additional 100 damage to the Sugar Rush when in the Sugar Rusher's stack. Double Agent Seltzer doubles the Sugar Rush damage when in the Sugar Rusher's stack. If you are somehow lucky, brave, or dumb enough to end a round with all of these cards in your stack, deal 800 damage to each of the other players while you take none. Basically, if you play your cards right, you can win in a single round. If your Sugar Rush causes another player to run out of health, you automatically win. In this example, player 1 sugar rushed and player 2 lost all of their health. Player 1 automatically wins, even though players 3 and 4 have more health than them. Gourmayhem cards are an optional rule that we suggest trying after your first few playthroughs. Then you'll have worked up an appetite for some extra juicy fun. Before the first trick in a round, players have the option of swapping certain cards for Gourmayhem cards to double their effects. For example, Froyozen the Candy Commander decreases health by 50 and doubles the damage of all desserts, including himself, for all players.
Ooh, what's the scoop?
First, all Gourmayhem cards are double-sided and are thus revealed to everyone else. Second, Gourmayhem cards cannot be played the first time their food group is a craving in a round. In this example, meat is the craving, and it is the first time meat is the craving in the round. Player 4 cannot play their Gourmayhem card until the second time meat is the craving, unless it is their only meat in hand. Gourmayhem cards can be played anytime you don't have a craving in hand. Now you know how to play deadly desserts. Grab a spoon and spork and get ready to feud. Thanks for watching and have a great day.